Last half hour of the show, and I know that there have been some thoughts about fandom and playing in Atlanta United and things like that. We'll get to that after as we wrap up and go to gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. So now we go to Seattle and catch up with our man Nico Moreno, who is styling the lid, and he's ready to go. And so it is time to break down anything and everything going on in Club World Cup and Major League Soccer. How are you, my friend? What cup of coffee are you on?
What's going on, John? SDH family. We're on cup number 2 today. Try to stay up as late as I could to watch the most MLS games possible. And it was worth it. Some really decent games. I gotta say that they kept me entertained. I'm glad I started with the San Diego game because you really got the juices flowing there early. But just excited to be on, guys. We are at least in Seattle done with the group stage of the Club World Cup. So now we're gonna focus completely on MLS. So here we are.
All right, so I'll bite. Let's talk Club World Cup for a second before we get into MLS. And Sounders had 2 of their 3 group stage matches at home, and there was a lot of action going on at Lumen and at the Children's and the Providence and Swedish Bouncy House for practices and press conferences and such. When it came to the experience of Seattle in the Club World Cup, what do you think Seattle learned about itself on the world stage?
Ooh, as a team or as a city?
Yes. All of the
All
above.
right, gotcha. So as a team, I think that the biggest takeaway for me is that the players can compete at the highest level, and at least a lot of them, right? There has to be a sense of pride that this group takes in after competing with the best team in Europe, the best team in South America, and look the part. Whether PSG wasn't necessarily in full force, as in not the group on the field, but just their demeanor or anything like that. That's not here nor there. I think that Seattle definitely showed that they can play at that level. So, the Botafogo game was probably their best game, at least that second half where they put the South American champs against the ropes. They played their style. They were able to put them, under duress. They had plenty of chances. So there's got to be a sense of pride and encouragement moving forward that if you were able to do that and play your way with your concept, your principles at that level against that sort of competition, then you should be able to do it for the rest of the season pretty well. However, the same issues that have held this team back all season remain, and they were in full display throughout this tournament. And I have a hard time kind of going to those because everybody's reaction is like, well, yeah, but you were playing against Atletico and PSG. But the mistakes are the same. Unmarked man on top of the box, uh, defensive woes when it comes to restarts, a throw in that, ends up in the back of the net because of a bad clearance, inability to score, which is just a common denominator in every single game that the team has had in their last 5 or 6, 7 games. It's just an ability to score, an offense that just seems to need one more component, one more piece. So although I do think that moving forward, this team is going to be unified by the experience they just had and the camaraderie that it takes to be part of a tournament of this caliber, and the mentality that it really takes for a team to be competitive. I do feel like the coaching staff and the players themselves need to ask themselves, could have we done a little bit better? What if we would have played a little bit better? Did we have a right to dream? I mean, Botafogo went through, right? That's the thing that you had against the ropes. So why not us, right? So that's kind of the mentality of it, that I think, there's a good and there's a bad. In terms of the city, man, I thought it was fantastic, man. I mean, the atmosphere was unreal. I think FIFA put together a phenomenal event, man. I mean, it felt different just walking through Occidental. the surrounding areas, the waterfront, it felt at a higher level than just a regular Saturday or Sunday MLS game. And the attendance was good. I think it could have been great, but because of a bunch of different circumstances in regards to how FIFA started ticketing and marketing those initial seats at a really, really high price and all of these things that were done incorrectly, I felt like maybe an opportunity was missed to see completely full stadiums, but the atmosphere, the community showed you that they want to see this sort of events. Again, I'll repeat, even those people that as I'm walking towards the stadium were like, yeah, I couldn't afford tickets, but we decided to come down right here because there were little watch parties outside of the stadiums with restaurants and other places in the downtown area that had those sort of things. I just think that the community showed you that they are about the sport, and that the World Cup next year is going to be a huge, huge event in this city.
Yeah, and that was why I wanted to kind of ask about the lessons that might have been learned by Seattle as a city. Hopefully, FIFA, when it comes to dynamic pricing, when it comes to tickets and those kinds of things, that hopefully they'll learn about that stuff as well. But I did want to get your Club World Cup feedback before we got into what happened last night for the late night and MLS After Dark, at least here. The last match on the board. San Diego and Vancouver. All right, so it wrapped up at 5-3. So what I'm going to do, and pardon the key light here in the hotel room, but all right, so the over/under at 7.5. The juice boxes were at a plus 5,000.
Wow.
For a 5-3 final.
That is insane.
Yeah, and only one juice box maker touched it and said, okay, yeah, plus 5,000. So 6.5 was plus 2025. 5.5 was plus 841. 4.5 was plus 432. So even if you thought it was going to be 3-2 craziness with all the absences that Vancouver had, you went 4.5 on the over. You were at a plus 432. 5.5 and plus 841. But yeah, 7.5 and one of the juice box makers just basically threw something up against the wall at a plus 5,000. I want to know if anybody bid on that. That would be my biggest question from the night.
It does get me encouraged to go above the 4.5, which is my usual top. Right, I usually don't go beyond that. A lot of times you don't have that option either. At in some places, because I've tried, and believe me, I have. But quite honestly, this game was fun, was exciting. I think San Diego took advantage of a Vancouver team that was missing some pieces, but nonetheless, they did have a lot of their core guys. I don't want to take anything away from San Diego because, if anything, I think that Veras has done a great job at just understanding two things. One is the way he sets up into a game, that initial lineup, that initial approach, and then his ability to make adjustments throughout the game and kind of go off of what the game gives you. And man, in this one, I was surprised that Iliski, right? He gets a hat trick on his first start ever. He's not a guy that I had on my bingo cards, by the way. Really,
literally, Milan Olaski at Orange County SC, he lit up USL Championship. But no, to your point, I did not have that translating to Major League Soccer.
No, and that's all I knew about him, was that he was a USL player, that he had a spell, I think, in Denmark or something, and then now he was playing for St. Louis, and I always thought I would see him more as just a sub, a guy that was going to come in, give you some, a lot of effort, give you maybe a goal or two. But man, hat trick on his first start. I mean, that was insanity. I thought that he found space very well. I think that he was intelligent in his movement, but it all goes off of Dreyer. I think that is the player that I have told you here very early on that, he MVP conversation. He's a guy that I had to put in my ballot for MLS All-Star game. I mean, he's just been so good because of his versatility. He plays out wide. He plays as a false nine. Even when he's playing out wide, he's going to cut in those inside channels. He has great vision. And in this one, it was all at full display. They are such a good midfield as well. No Godoy in this one, but still, right? Travis Koff and Valkyrie doing a great job at midfield. I just really do think that this team has a little bit of everything. Even when it comes to those pieces coming off the bench. Tomas Angel, I feel like is very underrated. He comes in, he puts it in the back of the net. I mean, all in all, San Diego just dismantled Vancouver. However, I don't want to overreact. People are already saying, "Oh, Vancouver, it's the CCC, hangover." Maybe a little bit of that, but I feel like this is a team that is still trying to get itself together after that tournament. I don't know. I don't think it's going to prolong. I think they'll figure it out and they'll get back to their winning ways by next week.
Well, and they've also got folks that are kind of wearing national crests, and they're kind of busy there. So not necessarily a shock that they would be in these back and forths, or that they would be getting dinged where they've lost 2 in a row, and everybody's going, "Oh, they've only won once in their last 3, and they lost 2 in a row." It's like, bruh, they got so many folks on national duty right now that just let everybody come back. Then they come back to full song, and Jesper Sorensen will have everybody back in house, and everything should be back to where it was. Just take this for being midweek, international window, Gold Cup, all those things that are there in context, and apply it to the equation for what happened late last night. When you look at San Diego right now, Vancouver's got a match in hand because they've been kind of busy with the Triple C. So San Diego right now on top in the West. Vancouver, Minnesota, Portland, and then you start to go into the folks that are less than 30 points. San Jose, LAFC. LAFC's got 3 matches in hand. They've only played 16 because they've been kind of busy doing other stuff. Seattle, 18 matches and 26 points. Austin, 26 points, same record, but Seattle's got a match in hand. Colorado is your 9 right now at 25 points. Then you get into everybody else from the state of Texas. Dallas, Houston, Sporting. Sporting comes back from 1-0 down and beat Charlotte last night. I'm sure that everyone in Charlotte is going to be reacting calmly this morning to that one, yeah?
That one was a baffling 5 or 6 last minutes. It's incredible how you can be on, because they played well the entirety of the game, and in the last 6 minutes you just lay off the gas completely, and you can't handle the most basic over the top balls, and you allow bounce after bounce and player after player to get into your 18. And when you have a group like Sporting Kansas City, that I do feel like they have a certain level of confidence, specifically in their attack, because Joveljic has given them that. And I think Manu as well. He's been very, very good for that team. Man, they as soon as that first goal hit and the momentum completely shifted, all I was looking was the time. And hey, they did it in that amount of time. So unfortunate. I think Dean Smith, I would not want to be in that locker room, because I'm pretty sure that he blew a gasket after that game. But credit to Sporting Kansas City. We have seen this from Charlotte, unfortunately. This season, they've had moments where they're just not as sharp. And the vibes in the locker room aren't as great as they used to be. I'm still trying to figure out the Saha thing. Sometimes it looks really good. Sometimes it looks really ugly. In this one, it was fine. It was good. I mean, he was productive. He was involved, and, all good and well. But Charlotte is one of those teams that I'm still trying to figure out myself.
You ain't the only one. We'll go through a cliffhanger in just a little bit. All-Star team was named. First and foremost, I still want Major League Soccer to have their own All-Star game, and I don't think that you should continue to line yourself up against Liga MX, Juve's D roster. Look, if it's an All-Star game, make sure that it's entertaining. Play your players against your own players to showcase your league. That, for me, is my first issue with MLS All-Star game. And like I said, in years past, we have taken 20 minutes, back-to-back years, and I would suggest that folks go back into our archive and listen to our fixes for the MLS All-Star game. We turned it into like the Royal Rumble. We had fun. We had hockey changes to where you didn't have to have the fourth hold up the light board. Literally, if you want to tag in or tag out, you just run, you tag somebody whether they're looking at you or not, and then you're in. If you want to run and you want to tag one of the MLS broadcasters in, like, and they can't change into an outfit, like if Sasha Kleshchin or Kalen Kyle or Kevin Egan or Dax McCarty, if they're standing on the sideline, or Gio Savarese, if they're standing on the sideline and they're doing a live hit and you're playing and you tap them, they have no choice. In their street clothes, they've got to go in and play. Those are the kinds of fix, and you would have like Royal Rumble entrances where, every 2 minutes or something, you start with, say, 5-on-5, and then you go back and forth. Then after like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, buzzer goes, smoke happens in an end zone. And then, oh my God, that's Valderrama's music, and then Carlos Valderrama comes in. It's a man of the past from Major League Soccer, and Carlos Valderrama comes out, he gives 2 minutes, or it's Ronaldinho. Oh my God, something like that to make it fun, to where you're not hurting your talent, you're not having injuries, and you're showcasing your league. What would you do for the MLS All-Star game to make it look like you want to make it look, to promote Major League Soccer?
That's a tough question. I like your legendary card idea. That's kind of cool. You could see that golden card go up in the screens, and all of a sudden, here comes Roberto Carlos ready to go. Look, it's
like, there's a late set piece. Wait a second. Then you sit there and you go under the hood, and you sit there, and the buzzer goes off, then Roberto Carlos comes out. You got to let him do a late set piece.
Look, I think it's very interesting, and I think that as it has happened in the NBA, and they have done a whole bunch of different things as time goes on, MLS eventually will have to do things differently. In this moment in time, it feels like the priority is trying to get people onto that stadium, right? So they've tried European teams. They know that there is no better fan base than the Mexican fan base. So, bringing an MLS All-Star is going to get the America fans, the Pachuca fans, the Monterrey fans. And that's why I don't know if MLS will let go of that lemon until it's all squeezed out. I really don't. They're going to continue to push that until it's no longer a thing, until it no longer gives them what they're looking for, which is just, money, names in the stand, the, promotions for the specific game. That's another one where Mexican, media, Mexican TV is they're great at ratings. I mean, you put some of those game into the N and all that, and they're killing in the ratings, right? So it's really hard to kind of beat that out. In terms of what I would do different, I like your thought process, right? Let's make it interesting. Let's make it different. Let's, maybe shorten the goals and go 8-on-8. Display your own talent. I've told you that a lot of players have told me that they would like it to be MLS, just because, look, it's more bonuses for our league. It's more our players. Everybody, that's 18 other guys that are going to be able to get this bonus, that are going to be in there. Maybe you do something like, the NBA does, and do your rookie class, right? Your newcomers, maybe the first and second year players against your, experience, or, have been here in the league for a long time. I think there's a ton of ways to do it, but I actually do not have a problem with the Liga MX part, just because there's that competitiveness between both leagues that I enjoy as well. I do like to see both leagues go at it, and it create this spark that, even regardless of whether you're a Liga MX fan or an MLS fan, you're going to want to see it. You want to see how they compare, how the talent kind of goes by, and so I don't mind it. But again, I do feel like once it goes stale, like the European thing went stale, they'll look for some other ways, and that's when maybe your brilliant ideas will come to fruition. Because I really do like him, and believe me, I really do like your suggestions.
Yeah, no, we had fun with it, and it was me and Nick and Jarrett, and literally we were, and the Twitch pitch got involved, and we came up with all the Royal Rumble things and the hockey line changes where you didn't have to worry about the fourth holding up the game. To where it's 45 minutes, it's 45 minutes. You're playing 45-minute halves. You don't have to worry about sub. You don't have to worry about those kinds of things. Do the hot hockey change. Do those kinds of things. All right, so the roster in and of itself going up against Liga MX, and once again, take this thing for a grain of salt for what it is. St. Clair, Stuver, Takaoka in net. Defenders, Jordi Alba voted in. Arston, Blackman, Boxall, Alex Freeman voted in. Glesnes, Nahar, Miles Robinson, coaches selection. Midfielders, Sebastian Berhalter voted in. Very cool. DaCosta, Evander, Diego Luna, Tverskov, Zinkernagel, and then at forward, Ajimong, Baribo, Boanga, Dreyer, Lozano, Chucky Lozano, Messi, Rossi, Vasquez, Brian White. Sam Surridge is not on this list. I think that's probably one of the bigger snubs. I don't know if you've had a chance to analyze this list of folks. But once again, because you're going up against another side, you don't get to showcase your league, and you're going to have these kinds of snubs. And Surge, to me, I think, is on that
Look,
list.
Sam has been unbelievable, and I just feel like he is part of a team that doesn't get as much exposure, or they're not as interesting as others. But man, Sam not only leads the league right now, but he seems like the most dangerous guy in the final third. Luke Baribo has been great, but Sam Surge can do so many more things. So I agree with you that that's a huge snob. I think Goodman not being part of this, and he was part of mine. I think that he is another guy that gets snubbed. In midfield, you knew that you were gonna not get some of the guys that you were hoping to see out there. I mean, Anthony did get injured, so he was one of the guys that I kind of was hoping that got in there, but obviously he's not going to be there for other reasons. But all in all, when it comes to the entertainment part, I mean, I don't want to see. I mean, I don't want to see Jordi Alba. I don't. I don't want to see Jordi Alba out there. I would much rather see a guy like Goodman instead. I mean, these are the things that when it comes to being, selected or by the coaches or whatever, kind of forced in there, I don't necessarily love, but I gotta say that at least most of my guys are in there, so I can't be too mad at it. I feel like a goalkeeper, Coronel, should have been in there as well. I think he's been phenomenal, and whether it's statistically or what he's done with the Red Bulls, even just when it comes to the leadership component, I just thought that he deserved to be out there. No disrespect to Takaoka, he's been good, but to me, Coronel statistically has just been better.
Cliffhanger, a couple of matches heading into the weekend. Cali Classico, San Jose and LAG, late night on Saturday. San Jose is a -116, draws a +300. LAG is a +262.
LAG's, yeah, I could see that. I don't know if I want much of that. Maybe the goal differential would be interesting in this one. That could be one that I would not mind taking the 3.5 on. I mean, you just saw it with them in Dallas, right? I mean, it was back and forth. San Jose's strengths continued to be the attack. Dallas, within their own limitations, were able to put San Jose under some serious duress. So what's the goal component on that one? Because I'm interested.
3.5 is a -109. 4 is a +155. 4.5 is a +210.
Woo. You know what? I don't mind the 4.5. And
okay,
let's leave it at that. Let's leave it with the 4.5. But I think that one's going to be a high-scoring game. There isn't much to love about the Galaxy, man. I was watching that Colorado game, and they look so uninspired, and they look like a team that even when they have possession, even when they're on the ball, there's no confidence. There is literally no one on that field is going to make a difference. against San Jose. You're going to need some of that. And I feel like that might help LA Galaxy because they do play at a higher tempo and they do play better against a team like San Jose. But I still think San Jose will come up on top. I feel like they're just too good offensively. I feel like Chicho Arango is in such good form. I just really like what they're doing on the attacking end. So I'll probably take San Jose and the goals.
All right. Seattle, minus 149, hosting Los Verdes, Austin FC. Austin is a plus 400, basically. Draw is a plus 276. What do you think?
I'm going draw. 276 sounds pretty good. I would probably do, if there was a 3.5 for that one. I would probably. I really do see this game being more of an open game or of a 2-2. Seattle, I don't know who's going to play defense. Reed Becker-Whiten is injured. John Bell has a red card. New has a red card. Stu Hawkins has a quad injury that he is not going to be able to recover from. Yemer was in the bench, I feel like, just for show, really, against PSG, because he's still struggling to get back from that calf strain. So, yeah, man, I really don't know how they're going to line up because that's all your guys. Kim Ki-hee probably will be available. We haven't been at Providence and Swedish Performance in Clubhouse yet. I'll be there later on today. But I'm interested to see what the idea is. They might have to bring up some players from the Tacoma Defiance and figure something out. But all in all, it just tells me that San Jose should be able to score some goals. But I do feel like Seattle will have a little bit of a motivation to be really on the front foot. I feel like they started games pretty well for the most part in this Club World Cup. I feel like there were moments where, the first 10 minutes against PSG were really good. The first 15, 20 minutes before that goal by Botafogo, I thought they were really good. So I do think that they're going to be on the front foot, but this is going to be a game where your Achilles heel is going to be your back line. And I do feel like Austin has enough to put you under duress. So, yeah, I like the 2-2 draw.
3.5 is a plus 234.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Okay, figured you might. Once you were mentioning 4, and I saw the 234 for 3.5, I'm like, yeah, he's going there. Crew and Philadelphia Sunday night at 6. Crew at home a minus 123. Union a plus 309 on the road at Columbus. Draws a plus 280.
Ooh, look, the Union are 11 games undefeated. Even without Baribo, they were able to just pull it off there. Defensively, they just look good. God, I don't know what the St. Louis fans are thinking right now of how good this Cornell Philadelphia team is doing, man. But, oh, man, I would be very upset if I was a St. Louis fan for sure. But I think Columbus also has started at least yesterday with a bang, and they look so fluid, so many numbers forward. That's a difficult one, man. I'll probably go with the draw on this one. I think Philadelphia is really good defensively. I think they'll try to limit Columbus. I don't think that they're going to be afraid of working in transition at times. I mean, we know that Cornell's game is high pressure and don't make you get out of the bag. I feel like that'll create some issues, but I like the draw in this one as well.
Okay, and then the last one on the board is LAFC hosting Vancouver. LAFC is a minus 128. Vancouver is a plus 346 on the road at BMO. Draws a plus 260.
Give me Vancouver. Okay. I'm going to go with a bounce-back game by Vancouver, even without their big boys on the field. LAFC, man, they've struggled, and they look bad in this Club World Cup. I would say that regardless of them getting a point in it, I feel like Seattle just looked better on the field. And LAFC, to me, seems like a team where there's a lack of spirit. And look, I don't want to blame Steve for all of it, but I'm always going to go back to that moment when he decided that it was a fantastic idea to tell your team that you weren't coming back. And it just feels like a team that's out of gas. It's unmotivated. Is the Denny Buanga show, and let's figure out what he does and how he gets us out of this. I felt like La Perla Martinez has digressed in his, I don't know, progress as a soccer player in general. He just doesn't have the same influence that he had. I thought that the team defensively tends to be exposed a lot when it comes to the transition moments. So look, Vancouver's very good at exposing that. You still got Vite, you still got Kubas. I like Rios. I think that they'll pull it through in this one. I'm definitely going to lock in on Vancouver.
All right, I know you're heading to the Providence and Swedish Bouncy House and Cookout Extravaganza. So, what do folks need to know with you and your travels with Sounder Heart and Pulso Sports?
Cookout Extra, I like that. Yeah, so go ahead and check out Pulso Sports. We have a ton of stuff from the Club World Cup. We still got some stuff that we got to upload from the River Inter Milan game. But look, we got, and it's already like translated, so you guys don't even have to, think about it. But FIFA did a great job with the translations when it came to their videos. So we got Luis Enrique talking about the Club World Cup, how although Sounder players and MLS thinks that the grass at Lumen Field was fantastic because they never really touched good grass, Luis Enrique hated it. He's like, man, it's just not good enough, man. The ball bounces like a bunny. Is what he said. He said you could water it all you want, but it's dry in 10 minutes. It was really interesting hearing from Hakimi and Luis Enrique about everything that they felt and saw here at Lumen Field. So go ahead and check that out. We also have Koke. We have Giuliano Simeone. All of those guys, you can go ahead and check them out at Pulso Sports. And, of course, what happens here later on today in the Sounders Clubhouse. On Friday, what we learned this week with Jeremiah Shan and the Nos Arietes and Sounder Our Heart podcast network. And then on Monday, Love and Scorches, of course, with Ari Lillenwall, where we'll break down what happened throughout the weekend and probably what happened in midweek as well.
No doubt about it. As always, my friend, great to see you. And go finish your second cup of coffee, head to your third, head to the Bouncy House and Cookout Extravaganza, and we'll catch up with you.
I got you, big man. Take it easy.